And then, okay, so we're live. So lower back, like down here or here?
Down.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be like your sacrum.
Yeah, the sacrum and the glute.
And the glutes, okay. All right, so bridge pose. Apanasana is really good. We'll do the 4 directions with the legs. That's good for those areas. And all right. So at least I have a starting point. And wherever else we go with that. So what we want to do is think about extension. So top of the head up towards the ceiling, or if we're on our back, lengthening it so we get space in between the vertebrae, and strength. So we want to build up the muscles around the spine to keep it strong. All right. So we're going to actually start on the floor on our backs. So if it's uncomfortable to have your legs all the way straight out, you can bend the knees, feet into the mat. And the first thing we're going to do is, like I said, extension. So we're going to inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And they don't have to go all the way to the floor yet, so we'll just give the shoulders a moment to warm up. And you can also kind of go a little wider. They don't have to go straight by your ears. That might make the muscles work more, but it might make the joints more comfortable. So do that a couple times, going as far to the floor as comfortable, so you don't have to go all the way down. And we want to use the breath here, so we're inhaling, bringing the arms up. And then on the exhale, bring the arms back down. And then next time that your arms are close to the floor, we're going to take a moment, take a couple breaths in the extension. So pushing the heels away as though you were like walking against the wall. And extending the fingers out. So the arms don't have to be on the floor. They can be a couple inches up from the floor, or 1, 2, whatever. And extend the fingers away from the torso. So we're really getting into making space. And then one more big inhale. And then on the exhale, bring your arms back down by your sides. Beautiful. All right, so next, I'm going to give you the choice of straight leg or bent knee. So we're going to do one-legged Apanasana. And if you want to start with one knee bent, and then we're going to bring the opposite knee into the chest, and then set that foot down and bring the other knee in. So let's actually do that together, and then we'll give you the option to extend the legs. So we're going to exhale, knee comes in, just one at a time. Exhale, other knee comes in. Inhale, bring that foot back to the floor. Exhale, knee in. Inhale, knee down. So if this feels, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and you want to make this more difficult, building strength around those hip joints, the next option is we're going to bring one knee in on the exhale. Inhale, send that leg all the way straight out. And then we're going to exhale, bring the other knee in, and send that leg all the way straight out. Exhale, back to the first side, knee comes in. Inhale, leg out. So if this is too much, go back to that bent knee. Exhale, knee comes in. Inhale, either leg out or foot to the mat. And then one more time each side, whichever way you're going. And then we're going to bring both feet into the mat. And that might be a little bit much asymmetrical. So we're going to do Apanasana symmetrically. So we're going to bring both knees in. Exhale, knees in. Inhale, knees out. And you can go just as far as is comfortable. So for a counter pose, we're just moving it back and forth. To get the sacrum back to symmetrical. And then after you're done with that, we're going to bring the feet down to the mat. And just to give us a little bit more space in that lower back, in the lumbar, and all the way down into the sacrum, we're going to do some pelvic tilts. So if you want, you can walk your feet out just a little bit. And the feet can be in line with the knees and the hip joints. And what we're going to do is we're going to push in with the feet and flatten out the back to the floor. That's going to be an exhale. On the inhale, we're going to release that. So maybe you could even imagine getting your hand under that curve in the lumbar spine. You don't have to actually do it. You can just imagine it. And then exhale, flatten the back into the floor again. So what that does is it's tilting the pelvis and making space in between the vertebrae. Exhale, flat back into the floor. Inhale, release, and that tilt so that tailbone comes down towards the floor. Exhale, the tailbone's going to tilt up again. So sometimes you might need more than one area to cue into what we're trying to do, because you probably can't see what I'm actually doing. All right, and then we'll come back to neutral. And let's come up into our bridge pose. So we're going to do all three versions of our bridge. So what we want to do is bring the heels in closer to the torso. And we want to get the feet and the knees and the hip sockets lined up again. So we're going to lose alignment if the knees pop out to the side, or if they come in too close together, we're going to be not as stable. All right, so two options with the arms on the floor, or you could do robot arms. So the fingers point up towards the ceiling, we're bending the arm at the elbow. So that's our robot arms. All right, on an inhale, we're gonna lift from the hip points. You can push in with the feet and just come up as high as is comfortable. On the exhale, bringing it all the way back down. Inhale, lifting the hips up, going as far as is comfortable. Check in with the knees. Sometimes they flop out to the sides when we're coming up. And then exhale, bring it back down. So with the bridge pose, we're doing a back bend, opening up the front of the spine. And let's do this style one more time. Inhale, lift. You can push in with the arms, and that might lift the hips up a little higher this time. Get into a little deeper of a back bend, and then exhale, bring it back down. Nice. All right, so we're going to release the arms back down by your sides if they're not already. And we're going to add the arms to our bridge pose. So on an inhale, we're going to lift the hips and the arms come up overhead. On the exhale, arms come down, hips come down. Again, inhale, lift, arms up, hips up. Exhale, arms down, hips down. And one more time. Inhale, arms up, hips up. Exhale, arms down, hips down. Excellent. All right, we're going to do one more round. We're going to add our extra breath in for my favorite shoulder opener. All right, so if you need to adjust the feet, check in with the knees again. Here we go. So we're going to inhale, push in with the feet, lift the hips, arms come up overhead. On your next inhale, release just the hips. Take another inhale. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Again, inhale, arms up, hips up. Exhale, release just the hips. Take another inhale. Exhale, arms down by your sides. All right, let's do this one more time. Inhale, arms up, hips up. Exhale, release just the hips. Take another inhale. Exhale, arms down by your sides. All right, so we just did a bunch of back bends, so we're going to release that and do your choice. Do a couple of apanasanas, or you can do that pelvic tilt. I'm going to go, even though it's not a counter pose to do it this way, some of the things we need to work on with protecting the spine is having strong muscles on the front and the back body. So with my Apanasana, I'm going to go a little bit more towards strengthening, but you can do it as relaxing that back bend. So exhale, knees come in towards the chest. On the inhale, I'm going to send it out as far as I can. Exhale, knees come back in. Inhale, knees go out just as far as is comfortable for you. Exhale, bring it back in. And one more time, inhale. And exhale. All right, just for fun, because it feels good, we're going to rock side to side here. So hands can be on the knees. And just kind of rolling out on the back, the hips, like hip bone to hip bone, if that feels okay. Sometimes if it's a little tight, it might not feel great. Sometimes it feels like getting your own massage. All right, from here, we're going to come up to seated. So you can roll over to the side and push up, or if you're still on your back, cross your ankles and roll up. All right. So let's continue with some of this opening that we're doing in the spine. All right, so let's start with our cat and cow. And so I'm doing a class on bone health or osteoporosis. If that's something that you have and you want to be careful with the folding forward. So the kind of the biggest danger with osteoporosis is the compressing the front of the spine. So doing a lot of forward folds is not in your practice or shouldn't be in your practice. So your option is to go cow to neutral. So you can just do this to neutral. If that's not a concern, then you can go cat to cow. So I'm going to let you know what's going on with you. And here we go. So we're going to sit up nice and tall. So imagine that, well, we're not imagining. The sacrum is that part of the spine that sits in the pelvis, kind of like a triangle. into this shape. And so what we want to do is we want to give that space to move. So we're going to extend up. So that's what we're working on. So we're going to extend first, and then we're going to exhale, round back to cat or stay in neutral. And then on your inhale, coming up, looking up, and feel that extension on the front side. Exhale, neutral or cat. Inhale, cat. And if you have other things, there's so many things that can go on in the spine and in your back with discs and spinal stenosis. So just, you don't have to go all the way super deep, just to get a little bit of flexibility in there. And maybe do one or two more each direction. And then we're going to come to our laterals. So when we're doing our laterals, what we're looking at is, let's see, bottom rib. So in between each rib, you have muscles. So we're opening up those muscles, A, so we can get more breath in, and B, so we have more flexibility when we're doing day-to-day stuff. So we do more twisting than lateral work, but I feel like opening up laterally is better for breathing. So that's why we do it. All right, one hand on the floor. We're going to inhale, the other arm up. Pushing into the floor keeps this opposite knee from popping up and keeps this armpit to hip engaged and opening. Exhale that arm down. Inhale, other side. And this also opens and warms us up for our standing warriors and triangle when we're doing a lateral and a twist together. All right, let's do one more each side. And then back to neutral. And then let's come into that twist. So we're going to go mid-back and up with the twist. The range of motion in that lower back is less than 20%. Can't remember the exact number. We'll just go with less than 20%. So rotation-wise, our neck has the most. And then as we go down the body, it decreases. So that's why we do all of the head-to-toe movements. But when we're down in this lower back, it has the least rotation. So we want to honor that and not try and overdo it. All right, so here's our twist. So we're going to inhale and lift, and then exhale to one side. And the other thing we don't want to do is we don't want to grab that leg and force it, although that might feel great. Inhale back to center, exhale other side. It's not going to be of benefit if you are collapsing something or inhale back to center or doing some damage because you went too far. Inhale, so we're using the gaze, looking straight ahead, head goes, and then shoulders. Inhale back to center, exhale other side, gaze, eyes, head, neck, shoulders. Inhale, center. Let's do a couple more on your own. One or two more each side. So with yoga, we have two things we're doing with the physical body: strengthening and increasing flexibility. All right. Back to center, and then we're going to go back to symmetrical with a couple more, either neutral to cow or cat and cow. All right, so exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. All right, next we're going to come up to hands and knees, but before we get up there, visualization is also a really important part of interoception and proprioception. So what's going on in the body and where we are in space. So I like to think about the spine. When we're standing, we're stacking the vertebrae like a flagpole, up one on top of the other. When we're on our hands and knees, it's like a clothesline, so they're hanging this way. So when we're hands and knees or on our back, we have this length that we can make this way. When it's stacked, we need to keep those natural curves in mind and work with our strength and flexibility. All right, hands and knees. All right, so maybe you can feel the difference in your cat and cow or cow to neutral on your hands and knees, but let's try and see if we can feel the difference as we go from one to the other. So inhale, cow looking up towards the horizon. We don't have to go that hard if it's too much in the neck. And then exhale, either neutral or cat. Inhale. And the other thing that I usually do that I'm going to point out is the elbow crease should be facing center, not forward. So we should be able to bend the elbows out to the side and not have them locked. All right. So just going back and forth between the two. All right, next we're going to come into we'll come back to neutral tabletop, and then we're going to do a little strength here. So our, my favorite strength for hands and knees is our opposite limb balance, so spinal balance. So let's start with left leg comes back, and we want to extend back through the heel. And then we're going to bring that opposite arm forward, so right arm forward. We're extending through the fingers. We want to keep that neck. So I'm looking up at you, that's why I'm looking like this. But you want to look either straight down at the floor or maybe a couple feet ahead, but not up towards the horizon on this. So we're engaging the core, but we also want to keep breathing. So we have muscles on the back we're using with this extension. And we want to keep all of our lower abdominal wall engaged, so we're not dumping the belly towards the floor. Beautiful. All right, release that side. And let's come to the other side. So we're going to extend that right heel back. Left arm comes forward. You keep the breath going, extend back with the heel, forward with the fingers. And whenever you're ready to come out, you can come out or take another breath. And then release. All right, so let's do a flexibility with this next. So we're going to go cow to child's pose. If you want to throw your cat in the middle, you're welcome to do that. Or skip it if you choose. All right, so let's start with an inhale for our cow. Exhale, either neutral or cat down to child's pose. And then we're going to inhale back up to cow. Exhale down to child's pose. Inhale back up to cow. So you can do 2 more on your own. And after you finished your second one, we'll rest in child's pose. So if you want, you don't have to bring your head all the way down to the floor for your child's pose. Or you could do puppy pose where the hips stay up and the head comes down. That's an option. Big toes together, knees are wide, making space for the belly to come down. Or you can stack the hands and rest the head on the hands. Or if you have a block handy, you can put your head on a block. All right, when you're ready to come back up, we're going to come back up to our tabletop. And let's do a static lateral breath. So we're going to we'll do 3 breaths and we'll hold the pose. So left hand stays where it is. We're going to cross the right hand over the left and turn and look at that left foot. And we're going to breathe from that shoulder to the hip. So we're going to inhale at the shoulder. Bring it down to the hip. Exhale, hip back up to the shoulder. Again, inhale. See if you can feel the side ribs open up on that inhale. And then exhale, hip to shoulder. And one more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Uncross. Take a breath in the middle. And then left hand over the right. Turn and look at the right foot. 3 breaths on this side. Inhale, shoulder to hip. Exhale, hip to shoulder. Again, inhale, shoulder to hip. Exhale, hip to shoulder. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Uncross, back to neutral. If you want to do a couple of cat and cow. And then we've got one more. We're going to do our gate pose. So we'll do our low gate pose first, and then our tall gate pose. All right, left hand stays where it is. We're going to send this right foot out to the side. 3 breaths. Inhale, right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Tuck that right knee under. Left foot comes out to the side. Right hand stays where it is. 3 breaths. Inhale, left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale down. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. All right. Tuck that left knee under. We're going to come up to a high kneel. And we're going to send this left foot back out. And 3 on this side. So left hand on that hip or down that leg. Inhale, the right arm up. And then exhale, right hand towards that left foot. Inhale, center. Exhale, over. Inhale, up. And one more time. Exhale, over. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. All right, tuck that left knee under. Send that right foot out. Right hand on that right hip or down that right leg. Inhale the left arm up. And then exhale over. Inhale. Exhale over. Inhale up. And one more time. Exhale over. Inhale up. All right, two choices here. You can come up to standing from here, or you can come down and come down into downward facing dog to come up. So if you want to come up from here, you can do this and then stand up, or come down, down dog, and then come up. All right. All right, the first thing we want to do is come into our mountain pose and find our beautiful spinal alignment. All right, so 3 curves in the spine, the neck that way, thoracic spine that way, lumbar spine that way. So if we've had years of rounding, we got to work to get that back. All right, so we're going to start with the feet. 3 corners of the feet or 4 corners of the feet, your choice. But pay attention to the toes, maybe spread them out a little wider. Feel the feet rooted into the earth. Knees are relaxed. Hip points towards each other, so we're activating this lower abdomen, so we're not dumping, keeping that nice and strong. As Chitra likes to say, our heart light shines up. So we've got that. Shoulder blades towards each other on the back body, and collarbones away from each other towards the shoulders, sternum down. All right, and then last, we're going to send the back of the neck towards the back wall, and then the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Last thing, hands. If you want, you make thumbs towards the top of the mat, and then turn them out towards the side. Feel that rotation in the shoulders. And if the palms open, that feels okay. Or close again. And then let's take 2 full breaths. Excellent. All right. So let's do some balance pose before we do some warriors. So the first thing we want to do is how we started class is arms up overhead. So your feet can be wide, and we're just going to start with the arms. Okay, glitter on me. Okay. So we're going to inhale, arms up, and then exhale down. So this is a little bit of a back bend. Bring the arms up, exhale down. Let's do 2 more. All right, and then your choice to add the feet. So coming up on the toes as we bring the arms up, or you can arms up and then come up on the toes, however you want to do that. So that's an inhale to come up, and then exhale down. And then finding a spot where nothing's moving. If you want to add more strength, stay up on the toes. For an extra breath. Excellent. And maybe one more. Nice. All right. So we got my least favorite out of the way. Now we'll do my favorite one. All right. Our Karate Kid flying crane. Let's do, we're just going to do it regular. Too many other things in the brain. Not enough going on. All right. So I'm going to inhale the arms up, one knee comes up, and then exhale down. So we're going to try and move with the breath. So we're moving a little slower maybe. We can do this pretty fast, but it is more difficult if you go slow. If it's easy, then maybe it's not worth doing. Gonna make it a little bit of a challenge. So when we're doing something like this where we have more than one moving part, this helps get that muscle memory in. So if we start to fall over, we can catch ourselves. And it looks awesome and graceful, so it's fun to do. All right, so one more time each side. Excellent. All right, let's go Warrior One. So one of the things we want to do when we are looking at the sacrum, so this coming into the pelvis, is when we are doing our Warrior One, this is important. So historically, I would say there was a big instruction on where you turn your pelvis. So as we get older, those ligaments may be tighter, or maybe they're too loose. That's a problem too. So you're going to step 1 foot forward, the back foot's at an angle. And that angle can be up to you. It doesn't have to be anything other than comfortable for you. I'm not going to get my protractor out and measure the angle, although I kind of give you a number sometimes just to get in the general area. So the historic alignment cue was to turn the hips to face the front of the mat. Let's see, I turn this way. So this is how we're kind of aiming the pelvis in the same direction as this back foot. The cue was to turn it this way. So I don't know if you can see what that does here, but I don't want you to do it. So just because that's like what it used to be as the cue. So when we're in different aged bodies than 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds, that range of motion decreases, and we don't want to be torquing on anything, because if you know your metals, if we torque too much, that's going to break. All right, so that back foot, we're kind of lining up with the opposite corner of the mat, not straight at it, ideally. But you know what, we're all in different bodies, so you may be here, maybe here, maybe here. That's fine, but we want to protect that area. So let's get that knee aligned and warmed up. So if the calf in the back leg is tight, you can bend that back knee. You can just bend it, see how that feels. And kind of find a nice relaxing place for it. This front knee is the one that's going to move. So we're kind of aiming for that second and third toe, kind of. If you have, bunions or whatever, that may not be where you're going, but we're kind of going in that general direction. So inhale, straight leg, exhale, bend. The other thing you can do is, as you're bringing that knee back, engage the muscles of that upper thigh. So actually notice where that's coming in. And that's going to help strengthen the joint, activating those muscles. Beautiful. All right. Push up, step back. Other foot. So if we are in habits, or they call us samskara, get into a pattern. If I always cross my right leg over my left knee, I'm going to have this side overstretched and this side tight. I'm not saying I do that, but I do. So if you have a different habit, maybe you always, when you drive, you put one hand on the steering wheel and lean this way. So now you're compressing one hip and overextending the other. So basically all that to say, you may not have the same feeling on each side. All right, back foot at an angle. Maybe bend or straighten that back knee, however that feels. And then we're going to inhale straight leg, exhale bend. You can look down at your feet and see where that's going. Another old cue that they used to give is don't go past your toes. Well, you have to go past your toes in some places, like when you're climbing a hill or going upstairs, your knee goes past your toes. So that's not the issue, it's where the knee is going. I mean, I can go pretty far past my knee, and it's all about the compression in the knee and how strong and open it is. So back to that thigh muscle, bend the knee, and then as you straighten the leg, engage that upper thigh, or the thigh above the knee, lower thigh, I guess. Awesome, all right, and then push off, step back. All right, we're gonna add the arms, so we're gonna probably forget 2 or 3 things that we just did, but that's okay. So first foot comes back foot is at an angle, and you can always move your feet if you don't like where it landed the first time, adjust. And if you get into the middle, you're like, I don't like that, move it, it's okay. All right, how do we want to do the arms today? Let's do, we'll do the 3 sets of 3. So hands to heart, cactus arms, arms straight up. All right, so here we go. So we're going to inhale, hands to heart, bend that front knee. Exhale back. Inhale, cactus arms. Exhale back. Inhale, arms straight up. Exhale back. Second round, hands to heart. Exhale. Inhale, cactus arms. And arms straight. Beautiful. One more round, hands to heart. Cactus arms. And arms straight. Excellent. All right, push off, step back, we'll switch feet. Inhale, hands to heart, bend that front knee. Exhale. Inhale. And inhale. Excellent. Second round, hands to heart. Cactus arms. And arms straight. All right, one more round, hands to heart. Cactus. And arms straight. Beautiful. All right, push off, step back. All right, let's find our mountain pose again. And this time, let's pay attention to the feet first. So if you want to imagine the suction cup of that inner arch, and then release it, and then the outside of the feet have an arch, you pull that side up, ankle side, it's a nice ankle strengthener. And then release that, and then we're gonna press the toes, big toe, pinky toe, and then outside edges of the heels. And then the rest of it, you kind of know, nice and tall, honor the curves, abdomen, and breathe. Just take 2 breaths. Excellent. All right, check it out. Let's do our tree pose and then we'll do warrior two. All right, and I'm thinking about all of the things we're gonna do when we can get back in the closet and get our blocks out. All right, so when I say tree pose, all right, so find a spot on the floor, it can be on your mat or off your mat. We're going to root that first foot into the mat. And then starting with tripod pose, heel above the ankle, the opposite foot. And this can be your pose. You can just stay here like this, whole time, hands on the hips or hands at the heart. And let's get that breath going before we do the arms. So inhale through the nose, exhale out the nose, bringing the breath all the way down the back body, exhale up the front body. And then if you want, you can grow your branches or just leave them where they are and pay attention to that breath. If you want, you can bring that foot up higher if you have your balance. If you don't, that's okay. Stay with your tripod. You are still strengthening this leg, keeping that hip nice and strong. Other hip is open. Arms can be wherever. And then one more breath if you got it. And then coming out nice and gracefully. All right, shake that leg out. And coming to the other side. Foot into the mat. Root it down. Tripod. Nice strong hip on the first straight leg. Hands at the heart or on the hips. You can keep the hands where they are. Check in with your breath first before you move the arms. And then if you want to grow your branches, you can. You can bring that foot up higher if you want. Don't feel like you have to. You're still getting same benefits. And you're not falling over. More important. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then coming out nice and gracefully, shake out the legs, shake out the arms. All right, so we're going to do our triangle pose and then goddess and star. All right, so for triangle pose, if you have a block, you can use that. You can use a chair too, if you don't want to go down very far. So we did, when we were seated, we did a lateral and we did a twist. So our triangle is both lateral and a twist. So we're going over and we're twisting. And we're building strength by doing that. All right, so let's pick a foot, step it forward. Back foot is closer to 90 degrees. Warrior one is closer to 45 degrees. So if you, and then the other thing we're looking at is where our pelvis is. So again, we're following that back foot, kind of the angle of that foot with the hips. All right. So we're going to start with the hands at the heart, arms open out. And then just kind of relax the shoulders a little bit, extend the fingers out. And then we're going to extend forward with that front hand, hinging at this hip crease here, and then tick-tock the arms. And wherever you get to with that front hand is totally fine. If you're all the way down to the floor, awesome. You don't have to go that far. But what I want you to notice is where your upper shoulder is. So if it's forward, we're not exactly where we want to be. We kind of want to bring that back. So we're putting more of the load into that back leg. And then when you're ready to come out, we're going to grab that invisible rope, push the feet into the earth. And then we'll drop the arms and step the feet together. I'm going to cough, sorry. All right, other side. So let's step this front foot or the other foot forward. Back foot is closer to 90 degrees. Hands at the heart, arms at the knee side. Relax the shoulders, extend out through the fingers. Going to extend forward with that front arm and then hinge at that hip crease, tick-tock the arms, and wherever you get, that's where you are, right? All right, that upper shoulder goes towards that back wall a little bit, if you can. Take another breath. And then grab that invisible rope. Push in with the feet. Inhale, coming up. Drop the arms and step the feet back together. Shake it out. All right, so we're going to do star and horse, or some people call it goddess. But what we're going to do with the horse pose is a bit of a fold. So when we're talking about our bone health and not collapsing the front of the spine, is we want to have flexion without rounding. So what that means is this is your legs and this is your spine. So instead of rounding it, we're going to keep it straight or straight-ish because we want to honor those curves. All right, so we're going to go wide on the mat. You can stay on the skinny side and just bring your feet out wide, or flip to the long-wise, wide-wise. You know what I'm trying to say. So you can go this way or you can stay skinny. Okay, depending on how wide you want to go. So we're going to do that, that bend first. So if you want, you can actually put your hands on that hip crease. That's where the hip joint is, where the legs come into the pelvis. So you're going to bend the knees. The knees go out towards the feet. Feet are turned out. And we're just going to hinge. You can see where my hands are right here. We're not bending here at the waist. We're bending at that hip. So we're going to come forward. And maybe you can feel like which, so you have 4 main muscles in the top of your thighs, your quadriceps. So if I'm standing up, it's the weights on the outside. As I come forward, I can feel each muscle kind of engaging more as I come towards the inside. That's okay if you can't feel that. You can leave your hands on that crease if you want. Come up and back if you want, or just stay where you are. So an inhale to come up and exhale to fold forward. And then we're going to inhale, straighten the legs, and bring the feet back to it. If you want, shake the feet out, shake the legs out. All right, now we're going to go star to horse. So bring the feet back to wide. And we'll start with star. So inhale, bring the arms up in a wide Y. And then on the exhale, we're going to bend everything. So we're going to bend the knees, the elbows, wrists if you want, or keep them straight, bend them in. Back and forth, do a little dance. And then inhale, back up to star, straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Exhale, back down to horse. If you want to come forward, you can. You don't have to. Might be a little different with the arms up. Inhale, star. If you want to make it this more of a back bend, you can go up. It's okay if you do that. And then one more horse. You want to bring your hands down to your knees. We're going to do a twist. So we're going to bring the right shoulder towards the left knee. And just go as far as is comfortable. You're not going to touch the knee to the shoulder. I hope not. Inhale, come up. Exhale, other side, left shoulder towards that right knee. Inhale, come back up. And then inhale, nice big star. And then exhale, release. Shake it out. All right. So, forgot one thing we were gonna do. All right, so we're gonna drop all the way down to the floor and do our 4 directions with the legs. So you can come into a squat if you want, or just sit on the floor. All right, so all the way down, flat on your back. If you want to do a couple of those pelvic tilts first to get the spine back to neutral, go ahead and do that. And then we're going to bring this right leg up towards the ceiling. And we're just going to use our hands because I couldn't get to the straps today. All right, so we're going to exhale, bring that right leg in towards the torso. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, out. One more time. Exhale in. Inhale, out. Bringing the left arm out towards the left side of the floor. Right hand on the outside of that right leg. We're going to bring that right leg down towards the right side of the floor. Just as far as is comfortable. Inhale. Very slowly bring that right leg back up. The slower you go, the more work for the muscles. We're going to move that left leg out of the way. Right arm comes to the right side of the floor. Left hand on the inside of that right leg. And cross the body with that right leg towards the left side of the floor. And then again, very slowly bring it back up to center. And then bend the knee and set the foot on the floor. All right, let's do the other side. Left foot up towards the ceiling, hands behind that left leg. Exhale, leg in. Inhale, leg out. Exhale, leg in. Inhale, leg out. And one more time, leg in. And leg out. Right arm out to the right side of the floor. Left hand on the outside of that left leg. Very slowly bringing that left leg towards the left side of the floor. And then when you're ready, and again slowly, bring that left leg back up to center. Switch arms, move the right leg out of the way. Take that left leg towards the right side of the floor. Nice and slow. Extend with the heel. On your next inhale, bring that leg back up. We're going to bend at the knee. Both feet come into the mat. And then let's do the 4th position for this. So we're going to bring that right foot or right ankle on top of that left thigh. Right hand on that right knee, left hand on that left hip. So you're going to push that knee away, opening up that pelvic bowl. Release that. And option 1 is to stay right here. Option 2 is to pull the knee in. Option 3, left foot up towards the ceiling. Hands behind that left leg. It's our upside down number 4. So we have this great compression on that right hip. And a nice opening in that lower spine, down into the sacrum. All right, we're going to release that left foot down to the mat. Right foot comes down to the mat, and then let's do the other side. Left side of the foot or left ankle on that right thigh. Left hand, left knee, right hand, right hip. Open up that pelvic bowl. We'll release that. And then option 1, stay here. Option 2, pull the knee in. Option 3, send that right foot up towards the ceiling, hands behind that right thigh. Upside down number 4. And then we're going to release that foot down. Both feet come down to the mat. We're going to bring both knees in, a couple of Apanasanas here. And we are in counter pose mode, so just back and forth a little bit. We're not trying to strengthen anything. We're just coming back to symmetrical and releasing. Because what we did was a bunch of asymmetrical with the legs, so we want to get that lumbar and sacrum nice and even. All right, from here, let's bring the feet down to the mat. And if it's uncomfortable to extend your legs all the way, stay here. Otherwise, extend the legs straight out. Toes up towards the ceiling, engage the heels away from the torso. We're going to bring the arms down by our sides. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more on your own. And then from here, release the legs and the feet away from each other. Arms can come down by your sides and then away from the torso. Maybe tuck the shoulder blades under, closer to each other. Getting any last little wiggles out, I'm going to sit up so you can hear me better. And let's do a full body relaxation. Walking up the body, relaxing each part as we go. Starting with the feet. Relax the toes. Relax the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet and the heels. Release the ankles. Relax the calves and shins. Release the knees. Relax the tops of the thighs, the backs of the thighs, and that space behind the knees. Let the pelvis be heavy and sink into the earth. Relax the whole spine from the tailbone all the way up to the base of the skull. Let the shoulders be heavy and sink into the earth. Relax the upper arms, elbows, and lower arms. Release the wrists. Relax the hands, fingers, and palms. Relax the throat and the back of the neck. Release the jaw. Let the tongue be heavy and fall away from the roof of the mouth. Let the eyes be heavy and fall to the back of the head. Smooth the forehead and face. Let any last thoughts seep out the top of the crown of the head. Let the earth's gravity hold you. Let the air around you breathe you. Take the next few moments and just be. Gently coming back into awareness. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your fingers. If you'd like, you can roll your head side to side. When you're ready, and with an inhale, rolling over onto your right or left side. When you're ready, and again with an inhale, pushing up to a comfortable seated position. And to bring us back into the rest of the day, we're going to finish with jellyfish breath. I think we did this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. All right, so if you want, you can use your visualization skills, or you can actually put your hands on your lower ribs. So we're imagining that jellyfish, or visualizing it. So when we exhale, that jellyfish is coming up to a dome. When we inhale, it's flattening out. All right, and then we're gonna think about what the tentacles are doing on the exhale. They're gonna tighten up in the core. All right, so hands on the rib cage. We're gonna exhale first. Inhale, flatten it out. Exhale, dome it up. Inhale, flatten out. Exhale, dome it up, tight tentacles. And one more, inhale, flatten it out. Exhale, dome it up. You release your hands, release the breath, hands come back to the heart, and namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, guys. Good job. Oh.
Oh. Yeah, White's supposed to be on the cabinet. Off the end.
How are you doing, man?
Okay.